Me llamo Jacob. Y es el Biblia reloadado.
We don't speak Spanish.
We don't.
I failed Spanish.
I did alright.
Anyways, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
And this is the Bible Reloaded. Welcome to episode 2, season 2, or in the biz you would say episode 202.
202.
Yep.
We're that. We get to do that.
Yep.
Awesome.
So last time we talked about some shit that was kind of boring. We talked about Jacob stealing Esau's inheritance and whatnot.
Right, Monkey Boy. There was a little bit of blessing stealing here and there. A couple poems.
And finally, at the end, we had Esau saying, as an aside to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." Good cliffhanger. So,
excellent cliffhanger.
Let's jump right in to Genesis chapter 27, verse 42. When Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back from where you are. Why should I lose both of you in one day?" I like that she says, when he forgets what you did, you stole not only all his inheritance, which is pretty much the entire livelihood that he would possibly have, and the blessing, which means something within the canon, because there is a God. Let's say we're talking within canon.
Right, yeah.
From their perspective. He'll forget about it. Don't worry about it. No.
Also, it was my idea that you're getting hunted by your own brother.
Yeah, I also don't get the line, "Why should I lose you both in one day?" Nothing happened to Esau.
No.
He's just kind of mad, understandably so.
She's just being a melodramatic Jewish woman.
Oh, you know how it is. Oh, she's so verklempt.
Verklempt. I don't even know what that means. We just use it.
Yeah.
Anywho.
46. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I'm disgusted with living with these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among these women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living." So
That's some
Esau,
hate.
yeah. So Esau, as he had said previously, is married to 2 Hittite women. She hates Hittite women. She said to Jacob, "Don't marry Hittites. Go find something else."
Yeah.
Chapter 28. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, "Don't marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Paddan Aram, to the house of your mother's father Bethuel. Take a wife for yourself there, from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase in numbers until you become a community of peoples." They say that all the time.
I know, right?
Not only that, he explicitly says, "Go take a wife from your mother's brother." First cousin.
First cousin.
Yep. "May he give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God has given to Abraham." Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel, and Araman, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau.
We don't care about that part.
Mouthful.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys don't understand what it is like sometimes with some of these biblical proper nouns. You're welcome. This is difficult.
We do. We cut out a lot of parts where Hugo goes
Today, Junior?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
But actually, that was one cut right there.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Hooray,
sir.
I get a little trophy.
You do.
Verse 6. Now Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and had sent him to Paddan Aram to take a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman," and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother, and he had gone to Paddan Aram. Esau then realized how displeased the Canaanite women were to his father Isaac, so he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, sister of Nebaioth, and daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, in addition to the wives he already had. So he realizes, oh shit, my parents don't like Canaanites because of the whole deal that they come from the one son of Noah's son who saw his father naked.
Yeah.
That's the biblical reasoning. Yeah. So I'll go marry some other women who are also I'm related to. So also, that's one of his cousins, I believe.
And always note that in the Old Testament, and sometimes in the New Testament, but very rarely, you can have more than one wife, and it's just totally cool.
Alright, so that's the end of Esau for a little while. Next we get to Jacob is fleeing, as we said, to go get a wife who is not a Canaanite, or more specifically a Hittite. And on his way, he falls asleep on his journey, and he has a dream. This next session we're skimming.
Yeah, and
it's essentially the same spiel that all the patriarchs of the religion eventually get.
Yeah.
God comes to him in a dream and says, "Because of Abraham, your father's father, I'm going to bless you, and you're going to have offspring as numerous as the stars, and you're going to spread out across the entire earth, etc., etc.
Right, like always.
So this is just Jacob getting brought into the patriarchal role.
Right. And this is also the Jacob's ladder part in the Bible.
You ever seen a Jacob's ladder, the piercing? You know what that is?
To go down your penis?
Yeah.
Why do they call it Jacob's ladder?
Because it looks like a ladder. It's bars all up your penis. Chapter 29. Jacob arrives in Padanaram. What a good name. That sounds like a Star Wars name.
I was going to say that. It really does. That's probably where he gets a lot of his shit
I've
from.
never seen a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Wow.
Padanaram. Then Jacob continued on his journey and came to the land of the eastern peoples. There he saw a well in the open country with 3 flocks of sheep lying near it because the flocks were watered from that well. The stone over the mouth of that well was large. When all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone away from the well's mouth and water the sheep. Then they would return the stone to its place over the mouth of the well. Jacob asked the shepherds, "My brothers, where are you from?" "We're from Haran," they replied. He said to them, "Do you know Laban, Nahor's grandson?" "Yes, we know him," they answered. Then Jacob asked them, "Is he well?" "Yes, he is," they said, "and here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." "Look," he said, "the sun is still high, and it is not time for the flocks to be gathered. Water the sheep and take them back to pasture." "We can't," they replied, "until all the flocks are gathered from the stone that has been rolled up the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." While he was still talking with them, Rachel came with his father's sheep, for she was a shepherd. I'd like to point out, interestingly, female shepherd. I don't recall that from any other parts of the Bible.
I don't know how rare that is or not, but the fact that she has a job other than homemaking is probably sets her apart.
Maybe.
I would assume, because most of the women are usually making clothes
Or
and
birthing children.
birthing children because they're walking wombs just waiting to be filled, and cooking and shit like that. So it's interesting. Maybe it's because she's not married off yet. I don't know.
It's possible. Also, I'd like to point out Rachel, again, remember, is his first cousin.
Yeah.
Verse 10. When Jacob saw Rachel, daughter of his uncle Laban, and Laban's sheep, he went over and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well that watered his uncle's sheep. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and began to weep aloud. He had told Rachel that he was the relative of her father and a son of Rebekah. So she ran and told her father.
I would do the same thing if my cousin tried to make out with me.
Verse 13. As soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he hurried to meet them. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him to the home. And there Jacob told him all these things. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood."
So don't kiss my fucking daughter.
Now thinking about it, to be fair, it was probably we thought like kiss. It was probably
Like a family
it was
kiss
probably the
thing.
kiss on the cheek, family kiss before he marries her and fucks her. And then there's probably more kissing, but like maybe down below.
Oh, only here on the Bible Reloaded will you both get Bible verses and cunnilingus jokes at the same time.
You could probably find that somewhere.
Well.
C-SPAN. Nobody watches C-SPAN. They have no idea. Okay, nextly we have Jacob's attempts to marry Rachel, who he now apparently loves.
Right. Just, I love her.
I love desk.
Brick, are you just looking at things in the office and saying that you love them?
I love lamp.
Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it?
I love lamp. I love lamp.
After Jacob had stayed with him for a whole month, Laban said to him, "Just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." So now Jacob has been living with Laban, his uncle,
Right.
and his cousins, Leah and Rachel,
Yep.
for a while now, and helping them with their various shepherd duties and all those things.
Yeah.
And uncle says, "Hey, what can I pay you with?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel had a lovely figure and was beautiful.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
She had a lazy eye, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe it's just
What's the footnote here? Delicate?
I don't understand. Whatever. 18. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel."
Why did he start with 7 years? Why didn't he go, just give me the daughter and see what happens?
Yeah,
Like
they
maybe
don't-
it's like a
barter. You
Yeah.
could haggle.
haggle. Nope.
Laban said, "It's better that I give you her than to some other man. Stay here with me." So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her.
Uh-huh.
That seems like an An amateur writer.
Yeah, that's not good.
He worked 7 years, but he loved her so much it felt like a couple days.
It's like a bad 80s love ballad.
Yeah. Worked for you 7 years, but it felt like days.
Sounded like Meatloaf.
Good.
Good.
I would do anything for love, except work 7 years.
For fucking my cousin.
Yeah, it's his cousin. Anyways.
Yeah. Think about fucking your first cousin. Just one of the ones that you know really well. Even if they're super hot. Yeah. Not cool.
But you don't just get to fuck her, you have to work 7 years. And
Yeah,
then you're married to her.
Yeah. Or him, I guess,
guess.
if you're a lady viewer.
Verse 21. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife. My time is completed, and I want to make love to her." Imagine you go up to anyone, let's say your fiance's father.
Yeah.
"Give me my wife. I want to make love to her." And then you like grab her and throw her on the table and start ripping her clothes off, I assume. Seems like that kind of thing. Verse 22. So Laban brought together all the people of that place and gave a feast. But when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob made love to her. And Laban gave his servant Zilpah to his daughter as her attendant. Usually at this time you'll see a lot of when the women are wed, they get a sort of attendant, their servant, who will help them with certain things, or even have sex with the husband.
Yeah, it's kind of like an insurance policy on wombs.
Yeah. Verse 25. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me?"
Okay.
Wait a minute. He fucked her all night?
All night long.
And he didn't look at her face once? Like, oh, wait a minute, you're not Rachel.
He probably... Okay, so she walked in. Okay, I'm assuming dark lit. Like, really passionate scene. Maybe a candle, but you can't really see because maybe she has the wedding veil on, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay? He's like, "Bitch, turn around." She's like, "Why?" "Bitch, turn around." And then just all night, never looking at her face. Every time she's trying to turn around, psh, bitch slap, donkey punch. Turn around. He's the least sensitive lover.
Even Isaac in his dying days when he couldn't see, when he heard his son, and he's like, "That doesn't sound like my one son." Jacob's been here for 7 years. He doesn't know the difference between the two. He says he's in love with Rachel. He knows what she smells like. Fact. He knows what she smells like.
Right?
You know what I'm talking about,
You know what I'm talking about. It's
Anyway.
not weird.
It's not weird.
Nope.
Just smelling people's clothes.
Yep.
Laban replied, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work."
How pissed would you be if you got the wrong wife?
I feel like he should just be like, "No, give me the one you promised me, you piece of shit."
Or I'll murder you. In
It's-
your face.
Whatever, got the one with a lazy eye.
He's, you know what, he probably went, this guy, he's a pretty big piece of shit anyways. He probably like, "Wait, so I get to fuck both your daughters? Forever?"
Who are both his first cousins.
One is a lazy eye, but it doesn't matter when I
The-
turn her
the la-
around.
The lazy eye probably comes from the years of inbreeding.
You're probably right, go ahead.
28. And Jacob did so. He finished the week with Leah, and then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her attendant. Jacob made love to Rachel also, and his love for Rachel was greater than his love for Leah. And he worked for Laban for another 7 years.
What kind of disdain and resentment would Leia have later? Oh wait, that does happen.
Here we come on an interesting point. This becomes a telenovela. This becomes like a weirdest soap opera you've ever seen.
So what's about to happen is straight from text. We're not making any of this up. If you haven't read it, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay? We couldn't make this up. I mean, we could try. It would come short. This is like the first time that something like this has happened. So, just sit back and enjoy. This is outrageous.
I like to call it Dueling Vaginas.
Nice.
31. When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, "It is because the Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Because the Lord has heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." She has named him Simeon. And again she conceived, and when she gave birth to her son, she said, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons, so he was named Levi." This sounds so shitty. Fuck, that's unfortunate for her. She feels unloved. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." She named him Judah. Then she stopped having children.
What a good literary, just like, and she was blown the fuck out. It was over.
Yeah, chapter
Wrecked.
30. When Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister, so she said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die."
Wow.
Have you seen that overattached girlfriend meme?
That's just like that.
Yep. True story. Jacob became angry with her and said, "Am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children?" Then she said, "Here is Bilba, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me and that I too can build a family through her."
Again, why is it always the, here's my servant, my backup womb?
Yeah. So she gave him her servant Bilba as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. He has listened to my plea and given me a son." Because of this, she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilba conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, "I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won." And she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, "What good fortune!" She named him Gad. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. Then Leah said, "How happy am I! The women will call me happy." So she named him Asher. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes."
As you do.
You know those mandrakes.
Right,
Look at
mandrakes.
those mandrakes. But she said to her, "Wasn't it enough that you took away my husband? Will you take my son's mandrakes too?"
What? Not the anything but the mandrakes.
You've gone one mandrake too far. Very well, Rachel said. "He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes."
Mandrakes are sex currency in ancient times.
Stupid. So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went to meet him. "You must sleep with me," she said. "I have hired you with my son's mandrakes." So he slept with her that night. I'd like to know what
He's
he
a
thought.
prostitute.
He's just like,
He just got
Okay.
pimped out by one of his wives.
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Oh man.
God listened to Leah, and she
Right.
became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Then Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband." So she named him Issachar. 19. Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Then Leah said, "God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because I have borne him 6 sons.
Yep.
So she named him Zebulun.
Zebulun.
I don't know why she keeps assuming that every time she has a child, he's gonna...
Maybe don't be such a weird person.
Yeah.
Maybe don't try to outfuck the other wife.
Sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah.
I like how that's the only line for the fucking daughter.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
her,
and
who
also
cares?
they had a daughter, but she's pointless because she's got a vagina.
Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, "God has taken away my disgrace." She named him Joseph and said, "May the Lord add to me another son." You'll find out that she does win because that is Jacob's favorite son, as you will see. Anyways, I think that's good for now.
That's a good... You know what, though? For anyone who says the Bible is boring, they're right. But in between those boring parts are really, really rich 2 wives trying to outfuck each other stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I think as a book of ancient literature, a Bible is a good book to have for a good time.
Yeah, some sections are pretty good.
If you know your Bible, and you should after you're done watching our show, you could sit down with friends and read shit and just giggle.
We did.
We do.
That's how this started.
That is.
Anyways, this was a wonderful episode.
It was.
Episode 2, season 2.
A lot of sex. A lot of sex in ours. In our show.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Alright, well, as we've said before, we have a merch store. We have shirts, hats, buttons, stickers, anything you may want with
Right.
our logo on them.
Yeah. And so go there and buy stuff.
We're also on the Facebook and the Twitter.
And the Reddit.
Anyways, Until next time, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this has been the Bible Reloaded.
Science bless.